I struggled with loving myself and feeling unlovable for about 2 years. But after watching this video, you'll finally stop hating yourself and not having to think about your mental health ever again, and you can just live life feeling like a kid again. I did it quite simply in 2 unconventional and dirty steps, especially number 2. And these 2 steps was the reason I was able to go from a lazy gamer gooner to a healthy, happy and disciplined young man. So step 1, the highest form of self-love. The reason why we can't love ourselves is because we don't keep the promises we make to ourselves. And we always push away the pain and hardship for our future self. And that's why the only reason to actually love yourself as a man is not like these weird YouTubers tell you to write and say an affirmation. Oh yeah, you're good enough, and take a self-care day where you drink a cup of chocolate. The reality is that it's simply just discipline. So you might have heard this before, but don't click off just yet, because the way we combine discipline with step number 2 is something you've definitely not heard. So if discipline is the highest form of self-love, then what even is discipline? Well, I've said it before and I'll just say it again. Discipline equals something that you specifically did not want to do. And I know this sounds crazy, but this means that literally taking a shit can be done with discipline if you didn't want to do it. The way I started to build discipline was by simply doing a task, but just way easier. So the task you always promised yourself to do, maybe it was running in the morning, whatever, do that task, but just make it so easy that it's literally embarrassing to tell your friends what you do. And then slowly over time, you can increase the difficulty level as you get used to it. And then if you want even more accountability and reward, you can download the habit tracker that I've made for you in the description completely for free. But now let's get on to the dirty part of this method. Step 2, arrogance. I know what you're thinking. My younger self would have thought the exact same, especially because he's from Denmark, and here it's not really acceptable to be proud of your successes. You're thinking that arrogance is bad, which to some extent you're right. I mean, if your ego gets a hold of you and you think you're the best in the world, then it's obviously bad. But that's not what I will share with you. You can use this if even after building discipline and getting on to self-improvement, you still feel like you can't love yourself. I experienced this when I was starting to wake up at 6 AM every morning, meditating, journaling, and even doing small workouts. But still, when I took a look at other people and I looked at myself, I felt like I hated myself. But finally, I found the problem. When you start to build discipline and you actually build some of it, your brain hasn't really updated your self-image. You still look at yourself as you were taught to. You still have that normie mindset where being disciplined isn't really rewarded. And so the way that I changed this was through arrogance. I started to tell myself, why can't you see that you're putting in more work than these other people? While they're sleeping, you're literally working. You're up at 6 AM. While they're scrolling, you're going to the gym. You see, it's only when you realize that you're actually putting in far more work than the average guy. That is only when you really realize how disciplined you are and actually get that self-love. And it was only when I looked outwards and realized how much that I had improved that I actually started viewing myself higher and I could actually love myself. So by using discipline to start slowly building self-love and then taking a look outward to realize how far you've come and then actually loving yourself, the feeling of being unlovable will go away and you can finally just lock in, do the work, and without having to think about your mental health and it being in the way. Alright, that's it. Put one foot in front of the other.